Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the flight deck. We are in Japan on our second to last flight in this series. We've been flying from the northernmost airport, and we're heading down to the southernmost. We're currently in Naha, the capital of the Okinawa region of islands. And we're going to be flying out of here and heading further south down to Shimojishima Island itself, and then we've got one more flight which should be happening on Monday. We'll be heading down from there, and that will be the wrap up of the series. But we're here in Naha. It is currently an early 4:30 in the morning local time, and we're doing first flight out again. Maybe get a little bit of sunrise on the way, but it's starting to seem unlikely. Flying along today is Kevin. He's parked further to the north. We'll see him and hear him shortly. So let's hop on board. We'll get the ATR72-600 up and running and ready to go. Alright, slip into the cockpit now. And we'll make sure our cockpit preparations are all done. There we go. Alright, documents are on board. So gear lever is confirmed to be in the down position. Parking brake is confirmed to be set. We can pop up top now and turn on the battery. There we go. Aircraft is starting to power up. Make sure the external power is now on. We'll get the lights on so that we can see what we're doing. Inside, nav lights and logo lights will go on the aircraft. And we'll do our warning test. So there's our squib, fault, and fire test on engine 1. Squib, fault, and fire test on engine 2. Of course, being this early in the morning, first flight of the day, we got to do all of the checks. So down to the gust locks. Gust lock is set, and prop brake. We're going to put on the prop brake. We're going to do a pushback here. So prop brake is currently off, but we are going to give 5 pushes on the hydraulic auxiliary pump. This will give us the hydraulic pressure needed to get the prop brake on, and that is now guarded, and the prop brake is in place. So we can start engine number 2 with it, the prop spinning, and in hotel mode. So that is all good there. We'll get the signs on: no devices, no smoking, and emergency exits are armed. And we'll get the windshield anti-ice on so it can start to do its thing. Alright, kill the caution. Over here, flight plan is in place. We have that. So we are ready to request boarding.
Boarding requested.
Swissport can do it. And we're going to come down and start programming in the FMC. Alright, so we'll go for position initialization first. There's the GPS data. We'll switch that up so that the aircraft now knows where it is. Come down here to nav data. No point checking it. I've never found a way to update that information. It looks like there's a set of data in there, and there's no way to update it, which is a little annoying. I wish we could. Anyway, into the flight plan and into the route. So we are flying today from Okinawa, Naha in specific. Oh, there's the people coming on board. And that is Romeo Oscar Alpha Hotel. And we are heading down to Shimojishima, which is Romeo Oscar, Romeo Sierra. We'll get that entered in, and we'll put in our flight ID of Uniform Kilo Victor 5556 and execute. Alright, so grabbing the winds here. The most recent update, which was 33 minutes ago. I'll put it into the chat so you can see it. 1900 Zulu, winds are 120 at 4 knots. So light wind will be coming out of our left side on takeoff. 10 kilometers of visibility, a few clouds in the area. It's currently 14 degrees out here on the island. QNH is 1020, and in inches of mercury it is 3012. So we can actually do that now. So we'll come to the barrel and 1020. And we'll make sure we're at 3012. Well, that is not aligning actually. There we go. So that is now set in, and that is set on both sides and in standby. Okay. Popping back down, we can now go into our departure. So we are going to be departing today off of runway 18 left. So we'll select Naha Airport. 18 left is our departure. We're going to be doing the Ganju 2 departure. And we will execute that. You can see our departure. We're climbing up to 500 feet. We're then going to turn towards HAL00 and then Vigar Carry, and that will take us out to Ganju, where we're going to head off on our en route portion. So from Ganju, which we can select here, we're going to be going on the Yankee 576 airway. Oh, no, actually, no. You gotta remember, you don't do it this way on this aircraft. That one, and we're gonna be going down to Diana. So these are our waypoints. We'll be going to Diana, and we'll execute that. And that is our route. So that takes us from Ganju all the way down to Diana. And then we're gonna be landing on runway 35 down in Shimojishima, as the winds are basically out of the northeast. No update to that, and runway 35 is looking good. So we're going to be doing the RNAV for runway 35, and we're going to come in off of no star. But that should take us from Diana, and I'm just going to pull it up so I can make sure that it is doing the right thing. So we go from Diana that is not correct. So we're going to go back up. Okay, we're going to go back into RORS. Is there another RNAV? No. I think this is one of the issues with this outdated data. It gave us, oh, I see what it did. Okay, so we're going to have to enter in a couple points first before we head down that way. So after Diana, our next waypoint is going to be Taiko. Tango Alpha India Kilo Oscar. We'll execute that. After Taiko, we're going to be going to Nusi, November Uniform Sierra India. Dano Taiko Nusi. Now we will go in and do the RNAV runway 35. Any embedded or 2 stars, but we're not doing that, so we're going to go none. And we'll execute. And that should take us now to Chima Pins. That is correct. So we're going to clear the disco out and make that a continual run. And that is what we want. Excellent. All right, so that is looking good. And we are all set there. So we can now go into our menu again. And after the flight plan, we're now going to do our weights. So into the briefing, fuel or zero fuel weight for today is 18330. And our kilograms of fuel on board, we're going to be carrying 1,925 kilos of fuel. And we are expected to use 700 or 693. And our reserve for today, and I'm just going to have to look at the actual flight plan for this, is 393. There we go. So that is all now set up. And performance initialization we can do as well. We are going to be cruising today at flight level 160 or 16,000 feet. 14, I believe it's still 14 is the transition. Maximum cruise, that is good. Our alternate for today's flight is back to Okinawa. And 10,000 feet is the standard that we use. There we go. And units we are fine with. If we come over to our VNAV, or sorry, our performance, I'll just do a quick chart check. And we'll see. Hey, Liam. Hi. Sorry, I was on another page. I didn't see my chat there. How are you doing today? I want my departure, and it's 14,000 is still our transition, so we'll put 14,000 feet in. There we go. Sounds like everything is on board. So there's our speeds, 108, 108, and 111. So that's in. We can come over here to our flight plan on this side. Doing very well. It's a windy day here. Cold, getting cold. 2 days we've got a big temperature drop down to about -10 as our high during the day. So enjoying this 1 degree, even though it's windy out as it sits at the moment. All right, so we're going to clear our messages there. We are good. So that's the FMC programmed in. We can now come down and do our radios. So we're going to do COM 1 on 122.8. We are on VATSIM, but there is nobody here. So we're going to go on to the VATSIM Unicom. We're going to do radio 2 over to the guard channel 121.5. We'll enter that in and set that in as well. No requirements for any nav aids as per se. We are pretty good with that. So we're just going to leave our nav doing the auto seeking for locations. Molly's doing very good. We went for a 2.6 kilometer walk this morning. She's eaten, had some treats and playtime, and she's currently sleeping on the floor behind me guarding the door. All right, so we're going to leave that there. ADFs we're not going to worry about. They are good as well. For here, we're going to go to train on my side, and I'm not expecting any weather, so we don't have to worry about weather radar. Traffic above is fine, and we'll come down to surveillance. We'll type in 1000 for the transponder code, and that is now on standby. I'll put it over there so we can turn it on from there when we are ready to go. What's that in miles? 3.2 kilometers is 2 miles, so about 1 2/3-ish. 1.5 plus. Hey, Lemon Wolf, doing very well. How are you today? So that is set. I'm just going to change my screen over to this mode and 10 miles. That's what I want on my side. So we're good. So we're going to do a radio check now and make sure our radios are working. Naha Terminal Skyways 5556 radio check.
5x5, how many contact one liner?
5x5 here as well.
Thank you.
Lemon Wolf, not yet. We've had a mix of snow and rain. Temperatures have been -1 to +2, 3, up and down. It's windy out right now and about, what is the temperature? 2 degrees right now. Expecting some snow tonight. Tomorrow it's going to be about the same. Sunday, however, the temperature drops, so we'll get into more seasonal stuff with about -10 to -15 as our daily highs, which is typical for this time of year. All right, so that's clearance is set and obtained. Altimeters we've already set 1020. We are loaded and ready to go. So we can come down here. Parking brake is confirmed on, so they can pull the wheel chocks. We get the doors closed, and cargo door closed.
We're ready to go when
as
you
well.
are.
Cabin is set and ready to go. So we are looking good, and we'll get that cockpit door locked. For what it's worth.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to
We
welcome
come up
you
now.
aboard our flight.
Beacon light will go
When you
on.
find your seat, please be sure to place
Wing
your
lights
larger
will go
carry-on
on.
items in the overhead
We're going to
bin
start up
and
engine
smaller
number
items
2 in
underneath
hotel
in
mode.
front of you.
And
Unless
this is
you're in
one
the
of the
front
ones with
row,
this airplane. We're going to
please place all of your
have
items in the
to
overhead
have all the engines up and
If you
going
have any
before we
trouble finding a
actually
location
complete the
for your
pushback.
item, please let a flight
But we got to
attendant
start
know
to
we
push
have
and then do the engines, or else it won't
After
do
you
the
put your
connection.
carry-on items in the overhead bin and it is full,
So before
make sure
start
you
power
close it as a
management, we are
courtesy
set to
other
take off. Both
passengers.
flight directors
Also be sure
are
that the aisle is
on
clear
both
and sit
sides.
down so that way
Radios
other
and
passengers can
transponders
get by
are
you.
set.
If you are seated in
Trim.
an emergency exit row, please review the exit seating responsibilities and the safety card provided for you. Please make sure that you are able and willing to perform these actions. If you're not, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated.
Is
Feel
usually
free to use
1.1
your cell phones
on the
during the rest of
trim.
the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you, and welcome aboard. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard flight
Yeah, 1.1.
5556.
We'll get
Our
that dialed
flight time
in.
will be roughly 57 minutes. Please note the cabin door is now closed. We ask that you make sure that all devices
1.1
are in
on the
airplane
trim
mode and your larger
is now
devices are now
set.
shut down and stowed. If you have not already, please fasten
Transponder
your
is set
seatbelt and
to
verify it is well
1000.
and
We'll
tight
turn
across
it
the
on
left.
once
If
we're
there's
ready
able
to
feedback,
taxi.
must be in the full
Doors are
upright
all
lock
closed,
position
chocks
for
are
departure.
removed. We are self-cleared and ready to
Stand
go.
by for all calls.
So we'll call in for the pushback. And there comes the boss. So we're going to hook up, we're going to come back, and then we're going to, no problem, Leo. I'll have to do our engine starts on both engines. But we'll do the hotel start so we can see what it looks like. Pushing back, it's a little awkward given where we are, but we're going to push back. We're going to go nose right, tail left, and we'll see where we end up. I can just make out a light over that building there. I think that's Kevin up there. We do have a 737 inbound. It's All Nippon Airlines 737 coming out of Tokyo. He's currently farther to the north. Should be starting his descent soon. He's getting pretty close. All right. So they're pulling up to do their thing. Get that all hooked into place. All right, we'll lift up the wheels there with the hand pump. Well, we've had clouds. I haven't seen the moon in quite a while. So we're going to go, as I mentioned, we're going to swing our nose to the right and tail to the left. So now they're going to be bugging us. So we're going to start up and get ourselves up and ready to go. So ground power unit is still connected. We are now going to do our hotel start. All right, so fuel pump number 2 is on. Ignore the guy. He's going to say release parking brake for the next hour. We are start AB, and we're going to start engine number 2. We'll add fuel. And as you can see, the prop is not spinning. Yeah, it's been really cloudy here for the last week. There we go. So there's the engine up and running. We'll just go through here, make sure everything is good. Oxygen supply is on, bleeds are all on, air compartment temperatures are all good.
Please take a few moments to now locate one of the several
And
emergency
we're good with everything else there. So we're going to start engine number 1 now. So we're going to turn on the fuel pump, and we'll get that up and going. Starting engine number 1. Adding fuel. Yeah, I know. I hate that you gotta do it this way. I wish you could, but as soon as you start the engines, if you haven't gotten this far with GSX, it goes, nope, you can't do it now. The moon likes to hide, yeah. Well, like I said, the total overcast for the last week hasn't helped. Alright. So we're up on both engines now, so we can release the parking brakes, finally. Alright, parking brakes are released, ground power unit is disconnected. And brakes are released. So with that push, we're going to come down here 5 more shots. It's because I don't have hydraulic pressure yet. And we're going to come up and release the prop brake. There we go, prop brake unlocked. Engine number 2 is, engine number 2 is now spinning.
All of this information.
Naha area traffic, skyways 5556, push and start gate 26 facing west. A little late on that, but it's not too bad. There's not a lot of traffic around. There's Kevin. You can see his lights flashing over there as he spins around. Yeah, we've been getting snow every day at some point for the last 4 days, I guess. But it usually melts. 2 days ago we had torrential rains, which was pretty interesting. It just flooded everything away. The rivers and creeks by me were really, really high. Alright, there's our line. Not sure where he's going. He's still walking. I think we're going to stop here. Hi, Molly. There we go. So we're going to stop here. Alright. So parking brakes are set. And we have good engine starts.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. Please disconnect.
Alright, we're going to clear the messages there. That's fine. So, both engines are up and running. We're going to come up top. So, hydraulic power, we do have the lights. That's fine. We're going to turn the pitot heats on. Those will go away when we add power. Flaps, we'll set flaps for takeoff. We're doing the first notch of flaps. There we go. Anti-skid
Traffic contact
is
1 taxiing to
good.
1118 left, will be taxied by Alpha 1.
Guts lock is off. There's a flight control check. Is good. And the autopilot. So we're going up to 1,600 feet. Wow. Really getting it wrong. 16,000 feet for our cruise. 2,000 above transition. There goes the tug. Alright, 16,000 is set. And we're going to go vertical speed. Again, we're going to set that to 10. And that'll help us. Heading hold, yeah, we'll align with the runway, but I'll dial it in now. Runway heading is 182. So we'll get that dialed in. So that we are set there. So we're going to head out and then we'll be on our nav as soon as we can. Alright, so that is done. We'll clear those messages there. Did we get the signal?
We're prepared for takeoff.
There he is walking away over there. Yeah, it looks like he's just walking away. So we are ready for taxi. Alright, so we are going to get ourselves up and ready to go. So nav lights are on, strobes are off, logos on, that's fine. Taxi light is now on. Wing and logo lights are on, de-ice is not required. And so start bleeds are good. That's good. Engine instruments. Heat is good. Start selector is coming off. There we are, and we're going to now bring the engines up to auto. We'll hear them start to fire up as they come online. I don't know, Kevin's taxiing out now, and that 737 has started his descent. Alright, so we're sounding good there. So what I'm going to do is take a look up. Oops, take a look up top. What we want to do is bring the power up until we lose those warnings. The hydraulics and the power. There we go. We are good there. That's good to taxi. We know if we go back too far, the taxi light will go off. We can kill the dome light now, and we are good to taxi out. There's our taxi line, and we're going up via Alpha. We'll go to Echo 2. Naha area traffic, Skyways 5556 taxiing from stand 26 to runway 18 left via Alpha, holding short Echo 2. All right. Manual braking. And there we go. So our route today is going to take us again to the southwest down the island chain. We're heading down to the southernmost.
Naha traffic contact 196 runway 18 left, Echo 1, we'll be taxiing on the Gandu to departure.
Please note, the cabin lights will be dimmed for departure and landing. If you require additional lighting, there is a reading light on the panel above you.
So looks like Kevin's made it. There he is. We're not that far. It's a short taxi. He's pulling out. This will give us some good spacing by the time I get down there. And here's Echo 2. Yeah, there he goes. We are going to give him 2 minutes. So I'm going to see where that chrono is. Alright, chrono's running. We'll give him 2 minutes. Yeah. I think there's some other classifications it fails to meet though. Things about clearing its space on its orbital path and stuff like that. So, not exactly sure. Okay, Molly, I know it's the kids coming home from school. Alrighty. Here we are at 18 left.
Naha traffic contact 196, report on the Gandu 2.
And we'll get on the brakes. Alright, config check. Config test is okay, so strobes are on, taxi light will leave it on, landing lights will come on, transponder, we will confirm transponder is on. Torque for both engines is an automatic. Runway is identified, runway 18 left, and we'll start the clock when we get out there. Naha area traffic, Skyways 5556, taking position on 18 left. Oh, they don't have to clear their orbits? Is that for planets? Yeah. I'm a little, it's been a while since I read up on that stuff, so I've kind of forgotten it a bit. Alright, we're getting ourselves out and lined up. Have passed on the chrono. I don't think Ceres was ever considered an actual planet. Alright, so we are good to go. We are going off on the Ganju 2 departure. And I think we are all set and ready to go. Enough time has passed. We'll stop the chrono. And we can start the elapsed time. Naha area traffic, Skyways 5556, departing runway 18 left on the Ganju 2 departure. Naha. Alright, let's get our NDs up and in position. We're all set and good with the engines. Engines are reading good, no issues there. Bringing them up into takeoff power. So both engines are set. Clear that, and we are good to go. Brakes released. Rolling, airspeed's alive. No, I think it was just Pluto. $80 knots. And gentle on the pullback. V1 rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Alright, power management set to climb. Autopilot on. Vertical speed mode is set. And we'll go into nav. Pick up on our course. There's Kevin's lights off in the distance. We're waiting for that speed to get above 150. We can bring the flaps up. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stars. It's actually pretty nice down here. There's Naha. Down here in the south end of Okinawa. It's 140. Alright, so yaw damper and autopilot are on. Power management is set to climb. Wait for 150 where we can retract our flaps. And then we're going to set 170 as our climb speed up to our cruise altitude. There's 150, 151 flaps retract, and we're making our turn. Naha area traffic, Skyways 5556 over V'ger, climbing through 2,100 feet outbound on the Ganju 2 departure, Naha. Alright. Those lights can come off, wing lights will go off, logo lights will go off. We'll leave the landing lights on, of course. climb out. Everything is looking good so far. Speed's coming up towards that 170. It's 168. And 170. So we'll switch over to indicated airspeed mode. I'll set that to 170. There we go. Now, I'm not seeing Kevin. Traffic normal. On weather. I'll turn it on. I'm set on terrain. On above. Not seeing. Oh, there he is. Got him now. A little bit further out than I thought. Yeah, I got you. Well, I can see where you are. I thought you were a little bit closer, but I can see your lights twinkling in the distance. Alright, so there's 5,000 feet. We'll just run through, do our confirmations. So flaps are retracted, gear is up, speed is set, we are in climb power. Climb speed set to 170. Lights are all off except for landing lights, and everything is on and looking good up top. 21 degrees in the cabin. And you see there's our landing lights. They're not very good though. That's why I leave the taxi lights on now. Helps see better. There we are, coming in. The other aircraft is on final. Coming in to land here at Naha as well. Don't see him. There's some of that light cloud. So there's our turn at Vigor. And we're just going to climb up. So airtime for this flight is 58 minutes. So again, not a long one. Second to last flight in this series. Monday should be the next one. We have one more to go, and that will take us. That's because I got my big high beams on. We'll be doing the last flight on Monday if everything goes well. And that should wrap up this series. And then we'll continue to power our way through the Canadian tour and the U.S. Capitals tour, get them wrapped up. And of course, we have 2 more legs on the long-haul cargo Formula 1 series on Sundays. We're almost to 8,000 feet. That's the halfway point to our climb. Engines are looking good. They've used 70 kilograms of fuel per engine so far. We've been airborne for 6 minutes. Kevin is leading the way ahead of us. He's flying a FedEx cargo variant of the 72-600. so if we do a quick weather check, we can come down here and get the updated weather. See at 1800 local time. Or 18, that's 1800 Zulu. That is 2 hours out of date. Wow. Not sure why it's not pulling the most recent. So we will ignore that. I'll leave it up, but we're going to ignore that. The most recent is only 9 minutes ago. Winds are 8 knots, 030, so we're going to confirm runway 35 for our landing. A few clouds, it's 14 degrees Celsius, and 10 miles plus visibility. No real ceiling, so they're reporting no significant clouds or anything in the area there. And it is looking good. 1019 is the barrel. Sunrise is 7:25 local. 2 hours, 16 minutes from now. So we are not going to be seeing a sunrise today. Might see a little bit of a local lightning on the horizon, but other than that, nothing. So my question is, who is this?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are
It
now
is
passing through
reporting
10,000
you way out of
You
whack.
can now turn on your larger portable electronic
You should be over
devices.
here.
As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened while you're
Anyway, there's
seated. Do not
10,000 feet. We'll turn
compromise
those
the
lights
down
off.
for
Seatbelt
laboratory.
signs can come off, and they can start getting ready to do service in the back.
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can have it up and
'Cause
move
you
around
made
the
that
cabin.
turn at
However, we
Cary.
ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when seated in case of unexpected turbulence.
I don't know why it's showing you way over there. There's our turn. And there you can see where our top of descent's going to be as we come up to what's that waypoint? We're still on the airway there. Yuki. That'll look good. It's 11,400. Down to 900 foot per minute climb. Still working our way up. Here's a little bit warmer here. It's 2 degrees at altitude. No, I'm not on the Doris. It's reporting you weird. I don't know why it had you. I mean, now you've disappeared, but I don't know why it was putting you there. No, you're just kind of gone completely, so that's all right. I know where you are. So less than 4,000 feet to go and we'll be up to our cruise level. And as I mentioned, we're going to park this aircraft after the end of this series, but we will see it again. I've got another one I'm working on that'll see another version of this airplane in another area and part of the world. So it should be pretty good. Yeah, okay. I'm currently 30.7 out from Ganju. So still a few issues with this airplane I wish they'd fix. A couple things don't work, a couple things don't work the way they should. But it is fun to fly. It's a challenge. And it's a great one for these short hauls. And luckily it allows me to run the flights on my virtual airline and log them. So that's a good thing. I mean, we could be using the Dash 7 for this. but then I couldn't log the flight, so this way I can, since this is an actual aircraft in the fleet. So we say goodbye to Okinawa. Very, very few clouds out tonight. Looking very good. We will not be at cruise for long. And then we're going to be planning. We're going to be doing an RNAV descent. So we can start looking at some of this stuff now as we continue to climb up. So the only real altitude restriction we have really is at Chimi and Pinza, and we'll see if it put in restrictions for them. So if we come in here to the flight plan, when we come to Chimi, we take a look. Above 1,600 feet, well, it wants it actually at exactly 1,600 feet for the RNAV. We're going to enter a hard 1,600 feet in there, and that'll ensure that we are crossing it properly. And if we go to the next one at Pinza, 1581 is the hard one that we want to be at as well. So that's perfectly set there for the approach, and it's 3 degree, which is correct. That's looking very good. So this is right around where our top of descent is going to be. So if we come over to the next page, you can see roughly we're going to be at 10742, and then at Taiko 7902. So this has got all our descent path information put in, which is exactly what we want to see. So there was 1,000 to go.
Naha, say contact 19 credit 5 miles scan to final call and credit 5160.
So there's a 20-mile separation between the two of us, which is perfect. And we're coming up now for 16,000 feet, which is our cruise level. Just below max landing weight, so we could actually land at the weight we're at. We burned enough fuel. It's nice to see. All capture is now happening. So this brings us to our cruise level, and you can see our speed starting to increase as our rate of climb decreases. Because it doesn't do anything. If I do that, it just says open. So, yeah, there's that. Alright, so we're now in cruise. We can come into cruise power setting for both engines. Speeding up to almost 200 indicated. See, the outside air temperature is 0 degrees, so it's pretty warm down here in the southern Japanese islands. So we're moving around it, turn around and close it. Closed. Alright, now you're going to make me look, aren't you? Let's get the dome lights on. Look, I've said it before. There are reasons I bring you along on these flights. And the main one is to correct my stupid ass when something like that happens. Besides, they were bringing me a drink.
In a few moments, our lovely flight attendants will be starting our in-flight service.
See?
We'll be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. Please note we only accept credit cards.
Hey, can we get something to drink up here?
Not a problem.
All right. So we'll set our TCAST to normal. No, well, maybe. Always remember being warned if you're ever given a transponder code that starts with 7, make sure you never ever dial through 7500, 7600, 7700 or any of those, because it automatically sets off the alarms as soon as it sees it, the slightest blip. We are 4.5, well, just over 4 miles to Manju. You know, Molly's funny. She hears something, she'll lift her head up, bark, and then put her head back down and try to go back to sleep. She's a good little guard dog. There. Just set up both sides. Forgot to do that on the way up. Well, it's funny, ELTs, there's a fairly hard landing can set them off, and I know at the museum we've gotten a call, I think twice over the time I've been there, from the search and rescue guys at the Trenton Air Force Base, saying that one of our transponders has gone off, and I know one time the guys were working, the aircraft was having a major work done on it, and it was up on blocks, and so it wasn't flying, and I think they were removing the ELT, and before they disconnected the antenna and the power, something jarred it and it set it off. So that was, I remember hearing about that call. And we've had the odd incident where things have happened and they've gone off. But that's why you listen to 1.1. Well, you used to listen. The transponders would broadcast on this frequency as well, or the ELT, emergency locator transmitters. So you'd be listening for the signal. That's one of the reasons you would have it on. So not only could you use it for relaying messages, like if you were up north, especially in Canada, if you were up north, you could relay a message to another aircraft and they would relay it to ATC type of thing. So you'd be listening out for calls like that, but you'd also listen out for the ELTs, and that way you can call in saying, you know, you're over this area, you're picking up an ELT, and they start doing their stuff as well, seeing if they can locate it. but the new ones don't work on this frequency anymore. They've been replacing them all with a higher frequency, 406 UHF frequencies instead of VHF, I think. Ultra high instead of very high. But yeah, it's something they've been doing, replacing them, so you can't monitor them that way anymore. There we go, 80 miles to top of descent as we're chugging along. We're not really passing over any islands here. It's a little bit sparser. And a lot of water we're just flying over at the moment. So the last airport, I was just looking at it on the charts, the last airport, the island is actually right at the border of Fukuoka Air Traffic Control Center and Taipei. So it's like right on that border. In fact, it's not far from Taipei either. Interesting. But yeah, we are making our way slowly but surely. We got a 44 knot headwind kind of coming out of the right quarter, about a 25 degree. You can see by the arrow. So that's slowing us down. We got a ground speed of 228, where we got a true airspeed of 264. So it's slowing us down a little bit. No, you still got to monitor it because that's still the frequency for emergency broadcasts, voice, and for interceptions. So if the Air Force intercepts you, that's the channel they'll contact you on. So the ELT was just one of the factors that you were kind of listening to as you went. But yeah, if somebody pulls up alongside you in a fighter jet, 121.5 is what they're going to be calling you on. So the rest of the schedule, we're back tomorrow, 1400 Zulu. We're continuing on our Canada series. We're going to reattempt the one that we had all the problems with on Tuesday. It's flying from St. John, Newfoundland down to Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. We're in the 737-700 and should be a good flight. Tomorrow, Saturday or Sunday, we are back again in the 747 cargo, flying out of Edinburgh down to Abu Dhabi for the last race of the season. And then the week after that, we'll be flying from Abu Dhabi back up to Stansted, outside London, which is a Fly UK cargo hub. And that will end that series there. And then during the week, next week, we'll be working on flights for both, well, after this series ends, we'll be trying to wrap up the Canada and the US tours. So we'll be alternating flights for those as we go through. In order to keep the my virtual airline flights going, once the Fly UK flight is done, on Sundays, the cargo ones, in a couple of weeks, we'll be starting a new cargo series on Saturdays, flying the 737 freighter, and that will be out of Stansted flying around Europe. So that'll be a new cargo series on Saturdays, and then Sundays will continue to be on multiplayer, and it will continue to be more or less long-haul flights, or at least flights of a number of hours. And we're going to be doing, breaking it up. There'll be some cargo, longer haul, or cargo stuff, and passenger stuff that will happen on Saturday. It's all on multiplayer, so if you want to come and join us, you can come over to the Discord, get the information there, and come along on the flights. You can also join the Discord, join the channel, hit subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and help support us and keep us going. A couple new aircraft are going to be seen soon on the channel as well that we haven't been flying. So it should be good. Alright, we're about 60 miles to the top of descent. Our max landing, or our load indicator is slipping down as we burn fuel, so we're below our maximum landing weight, so that is very good. So for our landing, we're looking at a approach speed of 107. We do about 110, and then we'll put her down after that. There. Everything is looking fine. Hey Kevin, I gotta ask, have you, I don't know if you're a big sports guy, football and all that stuff, but have you watched the Welcome to Wrexham series? I know the overlay is showing 72-ish miles to go, but that's direct line to the airport. I've just started watching it. So my aunt used to live in Oswald Street, which is, what, 35-40 minutes from Wrexham. So it's that area in the north where the Welsh border is kind of almost on a east-west line instead of north-south. So Oswald Street is south in the English part, and if you go north, you cross into Wales, going up the A5, and Wrexham is right there. So I've been to Wrexham a couple times. That's where her funeral was held as well. And I drove by the stadium, and then just after that, it's 2 years ago, just after that, or a year ago, I'd heard about the series going on, and finally started watching it. Really, really interesting. Not only with the town, because I know those small towns and stuff and what they're like, having been to them many times over the years, but just watching these guys, you know, buying the team and then working it, everything that goes along with it, how it's consuming them, how much they're getting into it. It's pretty cool. It's a really good series. Alright, we're 31 minutes into the flight, so we're about halfway. As you can see, the RNAV there is we're going to come down from Diane over to Taiko and then Lucy and then around. Ignore the islands. The planned approach that we're coming in on is out to the other side of those islands. So the airport is not there. It is actually on this island. Let's zoom in. the airport is not there, it is actually over here. This island, we're going to come out over the water and around like that. This is one of the issues I have with this, where it's not showing the train in their correct place. As you zoom in, it does get better and puts it where it should be, but when you zoom out like this, it's misleading as where everything is. It's a little annoying, but it's okay. At least we have a train radar. Alright, so we're 40 miles to the top of descent. Not sure I can see. Yeah, Kevin's out there, but I'm not seeing him. I think he's just outside of visual range now. Which is fine. Well, the pitch that they're on is the oldest standing international football pitch in the world. It's something like 180 years, and it's been in continuous use as a football pitch for 180 years. It's really interesting. But what I'm enjoying is the town and how they're interacting with the town and everything they're doing there and all that stuff. So, but the football it's the whole thing. And I'm not a big sports guy either, but it's more watching, because the series focuses not on but the team and the players, but also people in the town. And there's several people in the town they follow through the year and everything like that, and watching them struggle and fight to succeed is pretty cool. Alright, so we're 7 miles to Utah. Once we pass there, we'll start prepping for our descent. I wonder if they got any snacks on board.
Hey, what are the odds you guys could bring us a snack, please?
You got it.
So when you say water sports, are you talking water polo and swimming and diving and stuff, or are you talking like boat racing and stuff? For a few years, I was really into around the world, the Volvo Ocean Race, before they went with stupid boat designs and stuff. But back when they were monohull sailboats and they were racing around the world, I found that fascinating. So we're about a mile out now from Utah. We're going to make that slight turn. If there is a turn, I think we're still on a straight line. There's the needle swing. And there we go. So we're going to start getting ourselves set up now for our arrival. Alright, of our destination weather. Let me just grab the latest, throw it into the chat. Ask the boxes in the back for some food. Yeah, these catamarans and hydrofoil stuff, it's not me. I prefer old-fashioned monohull, you know, fore and aft rig, sailboats, racing, like they were doing up until about 10 years ago. It was amazing to watch, and really enjoyed that. Because I got a big historical interest in, I guess, late 17, early 1800s naval warfare with big square rig ships and all that stuff. All right, so here is the weather. So we have winds are 030 at 8, few clouds at 4,100 feet, 10 miles of visibility, 14 degrees, QNH 1019. So we're good with that. We'll hold on to runway 35. So looking at runway 35, doing the LNAV, VNAV approach as a Class B aircraft.
Shimojishima traffic, contact container leading flight level 160 to 1,600 for inbound on the RNAV 35 via Diana.
We're looking at a RNAV, an RVR of 180, which is not going to be an issue today. That is fine. We're also looking at a decision height of 350 feet. So let's get down here. We'll get decision height in on both sides. Decision height is set, and we're going to go to 350. Let's hold that down. So for our descent, we're going to set in 500 feet. That is roughly where we're going to take over from the autopilot anyway, so that is fine. And that gets us heading down the glide path. There we go, 350 feet is set for that. So arrival data, nav data is correct. We've all looked at that, and it is the expected approach that we are looking at. For the missed approach, we're going to proceed directly to RS551, turn left, and head to the SJE VOR at 2,000 feet. So we've got an altitude of 2,000 feet. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, Kevin. So it's out, and we're going to make a left turn, climb into 2,000, and go into a hold at SJE. So we're going to enter that information in here. We're going to put the SJE VOR in 1, since we won't need it for our ILS approach, since we're not doing an ILS approach. Don't know why I'm typing 117.1, and we'll hit enter, and we are going to flop that over, and we'll maintain that there. We'll make sure it is up and showing. So we're 30 miles from the airport now, and it is looking good. We can also come in here, and that's fine, that's fine. We're going to switch to below as we come in. So automatic torque, we're going to leave on. We're not going to pull them back. Radios, we are set. Engine intake not required. FCP, we're going to come up. We're going to set our altitude, as I mentioned, down to 500 feet. And we'll let the aircraft just bring itself all the way down to that. Feet is set. Landing elevation is set to automatic. Minimums are set 350 feet. Approach and missed approach, we've briefed. We're doing the as you can see it a little better here, although this will shift again as we zoom in. We're going to loop around the island and come in and landing there. Altimeter we're set when we're on our way down, 1019. Once we go through 14,000 feet is good, so. Approach briefing completed. Top of descent coming up. Now, when do you push your button, Kevin? Curious. We're going to hold our speed to 200 knots for the descent as well. There we go. VNAV path. I guess do it as soon as it flips like that. We're going to bring the engines back now. Keep that speed under control. Shimojishima traffic, Skyways 5556, leaving flight level 160, inbound for the RNAV runway 35 at Shimojishima. Roll it down 2 miles ahead, goes down on its own at the marker, and I push RNAV then. Oh, okay, well, pretty good. Speed back. One engine in idle, one in man usually helps hold speed. There's our missed approach, racetrack. Airport is currently 20 miles away. In fact, there it is. Right there, I believe. I don't think there's two. Oh no, there's another one on the main island. So we're coming in on a second island. So there is there's one here. I think that's the one we're seeing. Then there's the one on the island we're heading to. That's all good. And it is definitely still dark out. I checked the forecast. We're still an hour and 38 minutes away from sunrise. So, yeah, it looks like no more sunrises on this flight. Just going to monitor our speed and our altitudes. The first hard one is at Chimi at 1,600 feet. We're at 197, so that's a good speed to hold. So just to confirm what you say, you start rolling your altitude down 2 miles ahead, and then it'll, top of the set, it'll start down, and then you go VNAV to put it onto the profile. Back up to 199. Alright, we're through 14,000 feet, so we'll set our QNH 1019er. is set and cross-checked. And into standby. 46 minutes into the flight, we have 12 minutes to go before our scheduled arrival time. Tell them to get the seatbelts on the back so they can start getting themselves ready for our landing.
The flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please
Shimojishima traffic contact 19 currently beam Nusi with inbound to the RNS free flight currently at 4,100.
Okay, Kevin's made it all the way down to the bottom and he's making the turn inbound on the base, roughly. Did you pick a gate yet that you're heading to? Shimojishima traffic, Skyways 5556 overhead Diana, descending through 11,100 feet, inbound RNAV, runway 35. Alright, so we should have the airport over there. There it is, and the other one's over there. Kevin's off that way somewhere, working his way around to come in and land. This is the other end of it. So yeah, speed creeping up. Let's bring the engines both back to idle for a second. There we go. There's 10,000 feet, so we'll get the landing lights
We have begun
on.
our final descent into your destination. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in a full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat when it's seated.
First, what you're not seeing are these custom airports downloaded from flightsim.to for these airfields we've got. So you can see it a little bit, but yeah, the real benefits of it are not being seen. Same with Rex AccuSees is advanced. We're not seeing the terrains and the colors and all that stuff, the vegetation. As soon as we make the turn, there's the airport down there. As soon as we make that turn at Taiko, we're going to slow down to about 170 knots.
Shimojishima traffic contact 19 establishing left guidance for 11 free flight for currently 8,600.
Turn. That's us coming down to 7,000 feet. So we'll pull that back. We'll bring the engines back, let her get down below 185. We can drop the first notch of flaps. Shimojishima traffic, Skyways 5556 overhead Taiko. Sitting through 6,900 inbound RNAV 35. Alright, so we're below 185, so there's first notch of flaps. We'll try to hold our speed up in that 200, between 170 and 180. Watching that speed come up. Well, there's Kevin on the other side. Looks like he's tracking properly now. Kevin, I am going to go for gate 222. Basically taxi straight in at 22. So the middle of the terminal. getting a little slow. It's 5,000 feet. Base leg will bring it down to 145. 150 we can go full flaps. And then once we roll out on the descent, we will go into our gear down. The airport's currently 8 miles away. Just we got the other island there, and there's Kevin going the other direction down below. It's going to be a right-hand departure. 9,800 foot runway as well, so looking pretty good. Probably exit at T3. Alright, so there's our turn. Engine's coming back. We're going to slow her right down now to that 140, 145 mark. Once we get through 150, we'll drop the next notch of flaps. Have the restriction coming up, so we're going to watch our power as the aircraft adapts to that. There's 165, slowly bringing her back. Not sure why I got into pitch hold.
Shimojishima traffic, compass 1 air clear of 35 at Tango 3.
And there we are, 150. We'll wait for the 149. There we go, full flaps. Once we come back to about 130 to 140. Descent, vertical, and horizontal deviation indicators.
Taxi descent 1, 2, by Tango 3, and the apron. Now we'll go to 2-2. That's fine. It's 130. There's our turn. Here's the airport. That speed, 130. And as we roll around, we will go into approach mode. Final path is armed. Speed's 120. We're 9 miles out. Speed up. Alright, we're on approach. ILS frequency is not a concern. Power to take off. Flaps are coming down. Approach mode is armed. Glide slope. Again, we're on final approach. That's fine. Flaps are confirmed, set for landing, so it's just gear and speed. Parking brake is confirmed off. There's 8 miles. Shimojishima area traffic, Skyways 5556, 7.5 mile final RNAV, runway 35. A little bit of a wind pushing us from the side, but we're looking good. And there we are, final path. Get that speed to start bleeding. 6 miles, we'll gear down. Okay, so lights are all on. We'll get the wing lights, logo lights, and taxi lights on as well. It's all good. Ding them in the back, let them know we are about to land. And there's 6 miles, gear down. Speed back. And we want to cross over at about 110. We're looking good. Slight wind pushing from the right. 114 knots. 2.5 miles out from the airport. Or from the end of the runway. 3.8 from the VOR, which is on the far end. Thousand feet. So gear down, 3 green flaps full, set for landing. Cabin notified lights are all on. No cautions. Airport in sight, runway is clear. .600 feet, I have control. We're going to line ourselves up a little bit better.
Approaching decision height.
Visual now. It's 109.
Decision height.
Continue. Down. A little bit of reverse there. There's 60 knots. Engine's out of reverse.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 5:04 a.m. and it's currently about 14 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bin as items may have shifted during the flight. We thank you for flying with us.
Alright, there we are. Shimojishima traffic, Skyways 5556, clear of runway 735 at Tango 3, taxiing to stand 22 via T3 and the apron. Alright, so let's get the flaps up. And landing lights will come off, strobes will come off. Transponder. And this one, yeah, I know. Go to standby. Okay, strobes are off, landing lights are off, taxi lights on, anti-ice not required, trims are fine. Pitot heats will come off. There we go. And we can taxi in. Alright, so we want the basically the second one, and beside cabin there. I think this is the first one, number 3. Yes, it is. We want number 2. There's going to be a little bit of space between the aircraft, which is fine. There we go. We'll come in and go on a little bit of an angle so they can walk off. Head to the terminal building. I would say we were the first flight in, but first passenger flight. We got beaten by a cargo flight. So we'll just do it this way. Alright, we'll just go around here. There we go. Something like that. Alright, so parking brakes are set. We're going to bring the power down on the engines now. And we'll run over here to the aircraft. The ground crew can hook up that. External power on. Engines can come back to flight I or FTR mode. Let them wind down. There's Kevin sitting over there. Very nice. Taxi light off. Alright, we're ready to shut down. There's both engines shutting down. Very nicely done. Alright. So we'll get the wheel chocks in place, and yeah, it's not going to recognize it. That's fine. Doors and cargo are all in. Beacon light can come off. We'll leave that on. Wing light can come off now. Both engines are shut down. Oxygen off. Both fuel pumps will come off. And we are good. Clear that. And that's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. Kevin, thanks for flying with us. Hope you all enjoyed. We're back tomorrow, 1400 Zulu. We'll see you in Canada on the East Coast in the 737s as we continue the Canadian flight.
Thank you very much for joining us. See you next time. Bye for now.